the love of liberty, in the fires of hope and prayer, with boundless faith in our destiny, we solemnly declare. Side by side we stand, islands of the blue Caribbean Sea, this our native land. We pledge our lives to thee. Here every creed and race find an equal place, and may God bless our nation. Here every creed and race find an equal place, and may God bless our nation.
Heavenly Father, we come before you at the start of this new day, giving thanks for life, for health, and the opportunity to serve through this station. We ask for your divine presence to guide us in all we do. Bless this broadcast, that it may be a source of inspiration, joy, and unity to all who tune in. Whether near or far, may our words uplift, our music heal, and our message bring light to those who need it most. We pray for our listeners, wherever they may be. Grant them strength for the day ahead, peace in their hearts, and success in all they put their hands to. Cover those traveling with your protection, and those at home with your comfort and provision. Lord, may everything we do bring honor to you and be a blessing to others. Guide our steps, bless our efforts, and let this station be a vessel of positivity and hope. In your name we pray. Amen.
Your voice, your soundtrack, your station. New Era TT Radio. Nat Radio.
the Net Radio Breakfast Show, bringing you the energy, music, and vibes to start your day right.
Well, if you are looking for something to start your day right, well, guess what? You are in the right place. Welcome, everybody. Trinidad and Tobago, good morning to you. Neighbors in the Caribbean, good morning to you. Friends who are streaming all around the globe, which includes from some family also. A good day to you. And thank you so much for being here. It is New Era TT Radio, Net Radio, caught up in the net. The heartbeat of the Caribbean as we take you above and beyond. It's a real pleasure to be in your company this Friday morning. Yeah. Much thanks as always to the Heavenly Father for bringing us together for another day. And all that we do, dear God, let it be a blessing on to you. People have yours truly, Sir Charles. The music of the birdie in the background there. We close down this week of celebration of his birthday, 90 on Wednesday. And we wish the birdie 90 more going forward. The craftiness expressed in his music throughout the week. All right. But of course, this is the Get Up and Go. We welcome everybody inside of our breakfast show.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Wake up, it's a brand new dawn. The breakfast show got the vibes turned on. From Maracas Bay to the Savannah line, let's start the day in Caribbean prime. Good vibes rolling through the air. The breakfast show energy everywhere. We talk, we laugh, we make you think. Grab your doubles or your morning drink.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to the breakfast show on this Friday morning. The weekend has begun, people, and don't you forget it. Put a smile on your face. The weekend is here, even if you're on your commute or you're just getting up or you're now having your breakfast, whatever the hell you're doing, it's the weekend. So put that smile. Thank you so much for joining us on the breakfast show this morning. Of course, today is your day. This is the day when you can talk about whatever the hell you want to talk about. So, of course, we're going to open up our lines eventually, etc. And you all know the deal. You know how we do it. So thank you for joining us wherever you are in Trinidad and Tobago, up the Caribbean, wherever you are across planet Earth, tuning into the breakfast show. We appreciate you choosing us. We know you have choices, and we're glad you chose us. So a special good morning to all of you, and let me say a good morning to my co-hosts, Wendell and Sir Charles. Good morning, guys.
Good morning, Richard. Good morning, Sir Charles. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago, and good morning, listeners and viewers all over the globe. I forgot my light, my artificial light. So my apologies. I'm in a dark space, and I look dark, and
Well, not terribly.
okay.
Yeah. You can get away with
know how it's coming over. But I don't have my artificial light, so my apologies. Good morning, people. It's an absolutely beautiful Friday morning.
Yep.
You know?
It is. It seems like it's going to be a wonderful day in terms of the weather. And, wonderful day in terms of the weather for me and for Wendell means sunshine, not rain, for you to feel all cozy and whatever the hell you think the rain is good for. The rain is good and wonderful, as we always say, between 1 and 4 a.m. That's it.
That's such a misplaced belief systems when rain falling. Misplaced.
During the day, rain falling is just havoc and inconvenience. But we're here, and we are going to take you through the next 2 hours, entertaining you, and of course giving you some of the information that is bacchanal that's going on in Trinidad and Tobago and across the planet.
Bacchanal?
There's always bacchanal. But of course, this is the point at which we do our good news segment, because we always start with some good news.
Mm-hmm. We do?
Yeah, we do. And if you have sensitive ears, maybe turn on your volume.
Yeah. Show.
I think I'm a white man.
You think?
Yeah.
No, do you believe?
I believe I am a white man.
Don't you know that belief is a doubt?
How is belief a doubt?
Eh?
How is belief
Because
a
you
doubt?
cannot believe something and know it. If you
Wait,
think,
wait, my poor brain, wait.
hang on.
I cannot believe it and know it.
No. And you can only believe in what you don't know.
I like that. You can only believe in what you don't know.
You don't know.
That's why you have to believe it.
Yes.
Ah.
Now, do you believe in your mother and father?
No, I know my mother and father.
Yeah. So, but you might believe in Jesus.
I might believe in Jesus.
Because you don't know Jesus.
I've never met
Now
him.
you can only believe in what you don't know.
True.
So know that belief is a doubt.
Believe.
Now, do you know that you are a white man? If you know that you are white, explain to me how you know this.
Okay, my mother is Portuguese and she's white. My father is Scottish with blonde and blue eyes.
And you reckon they are white?
I reckon.
All right. Listen to this conversation.
Go on, Nitel.
If I get water,
Yeah,
it's quite simple, innit?
yeah,
I get a black can,
Yeah.
a white one,
Yeah.
a blue one, and a yellow one, and I fill them with water and seal them.
yeah, okay.
When you look, would you see the water?
You can't see the water at all.
What would you see?
Nothing, just the white or the black.
You would see the different colors.
The different colours.
And
of
if
the
you
can.
trust those eyes of yours,
Yeah.
you're going to believe that they're different, aren't you?
I will believe it.
Until you go and them.
Correct.
And what are you going to discover?
That it's all just water.
All one. Oneness in diversity, we call it.
Yeah.
Now you see all these human beings that you see,
Yeah.
who believe that they are Japanese, Chinese, blacks, and whites.
Yeah.
They are the same. And if you go to any one of them, excuse me, sir, what color is your mind? You see, you hear what he said?
He doesn't know what color his mind is.
No, go and ask a Japanese, he don't know either.
No.
Because we are spirits living in different color physical bodies. We are not our bodies. When you look with the eyes, you're not seeing me, you are seeing the body. Just like I tell you, when you look at the tins, you won't see the water, will you?
No. It's
So, will you look at my body and say I'm a black man? That is a program. You was programmed from birth, yeah, to believe that you are blacks and whites. But that you're just a spirit in a body full of the same stinking shit.
Thank you, my friend.
That's a wonderful analogy, and it's the same analogy they use for blood. Because we all have one color blood, you know, regardless of what race or ethnicity, we all bleed the same color.
Yep.
Same color.
He had some colorful language in between there, so I tried my best to get it
You
out.
should have played, man. You should have played, man. Jamaican is cuss different, you know.
Yeah, even though of course we are on, cable platforms and stuff, I still said, you know what, let me try and get them out. And so I did. But yeah, so that was our good news for today. Just some food for thought, and Jamaican wisdom there, I guess.
Yeah.
So that's our good news for this Friday morning. Good.
Richard,
Mm-hmm.
it sounds less like good Friday evening. You park up your car by the bar. That's the kind of conversation is get.
What you know about that, Sir Charles? You often buy bars late in the afternoon.
One or two. I've been by a few.
A bad St. Joseph, up St. Joseph on the Eastern Main Day. That's your favorite water, you know.
You know,
Oh, yes.
I play that by many a bars on a Friday, and in my time too. Yeah.
I remember that. Anyway.
But all sorts of stuff happened here yesterday. If we got to get to the nitty-gritty, I mean, before we go into greeting people on our stream, or you want to greet people on the stream first, Wendell?
Yes, we can do that, of course. Boy BDC came in at 11:59. Good morning, Boy BDC from Debe in Debe. Melissa from Sharfle says good morning. Suzanne Jessup also came in. Morning, Suzanne. And Suzanne continues to greet, and of course, give us that prayer every morning. Blessed greetings to all. Giving God Almighty and His Son Jesus Christ praises for granting us all breath of life. All right, Joyce Phillip, top of the morning, guys, at 12:22. DL at 2:38. Sleep problems, DL. That is all the mischief you has been making sometimes on the chat. Friday, good morning, all. Wendell, you were missed yesterday. Yes, all went well as expected. My apologies for yesterday, but it was unavoidable. Garfield Hazel says good morning, and he also says to the breakfast show, but am I touching things by accident, Richard? My apologies. Who's next after Garfield Hazel? It gone off my computer. Wendy Ann James also says good morning. Ron DeSantis Jr., he's driving back from Sweden. Okay, upstate New York. Ron DeSantis, behave yourself, eh? Sweden, he's calling upstate New York Sweden, apparently. Subhash Mangal says, good morning, everyone from Woodland. Have a safe and wonderful weekend. Sherwin Kerr and wifey? No. Sherwin and Juliet Kerr. What is that? Where's Sherwin? Sorry. Sherwin, go on makeup, eh? Go on say sorry, eh? Anytime you reach to say wifey and thing, that is when you're getting yourself in trouble. Okay? Go and say, sorry, Juliet. I love you. I miss you. I want to live the rest of my life with you.
I think they did that already. Yeah.
Okay. All right. You get Woodland. Anthony Tinto from Ontario, Canada. Good morning, Tinto. Norris Ferguson from Buena Vista. Good morning, Norris.
Good morning, Norris.
Marlon Motley from North Valsain.
Good morning, Marlon.
Robert Taylor from Fernandina.
Good morning, Robert.
Ozzy Molina also says good morning. Wayne Ramsey from Fort Lauderdale. Rena Jennings from Pity Valley. Good morning, friends. Anne-Marie Watson from Miss Maloney. Good morning, all. Have a terrific day and a fantastic weekend. Oh, yes, we will. Slick Money Grip also says good morning. Margaret Thomas, who also messages Sir Charles, I think is the same person, also says top of the morning. Alistair Hart from San Fernando, thank God it's Friday. Hillbench. Lambert Bruce from El Dorado. Odell Guy from Sangre Grande. Odell, I'll contact you. I have your number, but I'll speak with you privately. Cheryl Johnson also says good morning. Kathy Ann Charles from Cascade.
Good morning, Kathy Ann Charles.
Kathy Ann, how's the gym going? Diane Payne also says good morning. Mo Gaines, thank God it's Friday. Carl Guevara from Central Trinidad Margo. I think Trinidad Margo is also messages from abroad. CJ from New York says have a wonderful weekend. And as Mr. Richard Ragobasing would say, don't forget to smile and laugh. It's great for your health. Of course it is.
Good morning, CJ.
We are living testimony of that. Derek Bidwin says, good morning, gentlemen. Michael Robinson from Yokohama, he says, hold on, he says a little more than normal here. So Charles, Wendell, and Richard, repping strong from Yokohama, Japan. Much love and respect. And it's a pleasure always to have you, Michael Robinson.
Yeah, morning, Michael.
Doreen Pierre, Gavin Frank from Powder Magazine. Doreen Pierre says, good morning, breakfast crew. Eva Smith also says, good morning. Wendy and James, good news today. Yes, it was indeed, Wendy Ann. I thought you didn't play the cussing because a Jamaican is cuss different. You know? Jamaican and Guyanese, them is cuss different. You know? Different. You know? It's almost like entertainment when them cussing. You know? Richard and Sir Charles, them is cuss too, but you know. Andrew Joseph. And Noel, Miguel Gonzalez, Marcia Rock, Josie Richardson, Melchizedek, Alison Haynes, that's a new name. Blessed morning, gentlemen, and everyone on the live. Trini Gets Fit, Lyndon Williams, Susie B, Curtis Patrick. Now you're hiding your face when I forget my artificial lighting, my apologies. Town of Sweden in upstate New York. Oh, so there's a town called Sweden in upstate New York. All right, I didn't know that. Thanks for correcting us, Ron DeSantis. Jaron Joseph, good morning, Jaron. Jaron is one of my very resourceful people when I need information. Ambrose Blah, also from New York. Helen McCarthy, Susie B, Derek Billion, are you a billion from Labre? Okay, so you see how the chat is being important sometimes? Susie want to know if Derek is a billion from Labre. I'm sure Derek will answer soon enough. Magic says good morning. Grand Rising. Valerie Mendoza, Miss Dabady, and Chris Toussaint also says, he threatening me here. Yes, he said I've been written up for my absence yesterday and I've submitted my resume to Sir Charles. So Charles, you got a resume from Chris Toussaint?
I'll check it.
Make sure he send some advertising money to her.
Yeah.
Diana Hamel, good morning from Kufa. And that's all I have on the chat thus far.
Okay. Let me say good morning to Terry Ann George, who is always locked on. Thank you very much, Terry Ann. Good morning to Kent out there in Laventel. Terry Ann Peters is also here. We have a couple of Terry Anns on the insider. Maureen Dibchan, good morning to you. Ms. Maharaj and Archbishop Ashton Clark, good day to you. Carlton from Carenage on the chat very early. Good morning. I met Carlton the other day at Port of Spain General. He works there. Oliver Manwarin, good day to you. Captain Ron out there in Orlando, good day. Mark, Mr. Beeps out there in, I think it's Pity Valley. Mr. Beeps is in. Good day to you. Mr. Billy and the folks out there in Powder Magazine, good day to you. My sister Judy Davis out there in Barataria, good day to you. And Frank also out there in Aruka, Frank Andrews, good morning to you. And also to Laverne Edwards, good morning to all of you people. And thank you very much for being here. Spread the word.
All right. Sherwin says he and Julia, they're good. Just changing it up a bit. All right, variety is the spice of life.
Yeah. Keeps things nice.
Yeah. So, morning, Julia.
All right. So, I mean, of course, all sorts of stuff happened yesterday in terms of the news, at least from a Trinidad and Tobago perspective. This being one of them.
100% innocent. That's my declaration to the nation in this matter. There's a deep-rooted context to this. I am from a family where both my parents were school principals and icons in the education landscape in Tobago. When my father died at a young age of 44, our family was led by my mother, who was a pillar and stalwart of the Catholic and education community in Tobago, and she instilled in us all a set of core values and principles which remain with me up to today. Growing up with a mother and 6 sisters, respect for females has always been part of my ethos and my character. I am also a single father of 3 wonderful daughters who are all around the same age as this person. And the respect, courtesy, and dignity with which I treat my 3 daughters is reflected in the manner in which I treat with all my staff, most of whom are female, and they can attest to that. Our employment team has always been at least 80% female, with more than 30 years of my firm's existence, and my interactions have always been professional, courteous, and polite. However, we live in dangerous and treacherous times. And the easiest thing is for a female to make an allegation of sexual misconduct against a male, and then the man is left fighting for his life, trying to defend his name, character, and integrity. We've seen these allegations made against all kinds of public figures internationally, some with merit, but then again, there are some who are hopelessly unmeritorious and false, that they seem to be made simply because the person is a public figure whom you're trying to pull down. And unfortunately, we of the Afro diaspora have a particular penchant for pulling down our own, and this case is no different. It is undeniable that in Trinidad and Tobago I am very much a public figure, and the challenge And with the current way we deal with these things, is that the mere allegation is enough for many people just to take it and run with it without waiting for proof or waiting for the justice system to take its course. I've received calls and messages from so many men who have indicated that they have faced or are facing similar scenarios either in the civil or criminal arena. And in all those cases, it has been based just on a mere or bare allegation. We have represented clients who have been the subject of such allegations. And in many of those cases, the allegations proved false or baseless. Some of our clients have had former wives, lovers, girlfriends make these allegations at the end of a relationship. We've had some of clients who their former employees make these allegations after leaving their employment. And we've seen this trend internationally also. It's at times like these you get to see who your true friends are and who's for you and who's not. And it has been quite revealing in both aspects. There are those who would rush to judgment and condemn just based on the allegation. Then there are those who would take a more sober and mature approach in their thinking and would say, let's wait and see the evidence unfold. Then there are, of course, those who know me for years and who can stand with me firmly at present to say 100% innocent. To my friends, family, and supporters, I say thank you, and let's keep the faith. That trust and hope we have must remain positive. To my great team here at MAGCO, who have known me all these years and who stand solidly by my side, I thank you. Because as one of our staff members stated, in challenging times, the strength of a firm is not just measured by the cases we win, but by how we stand together when the storm hits close to home. And those are true words indeed. To all the members of the public, to whom I have served as a beacon of hope, inspiration, and enlightenment with my numerous talk show appearances and discussions, rest assured that I will continue to be a voice and champion for those issues, those persons, and those causes, and the downtrodden, the oppressed, and the weak in our society who need a voice to stand up for them. I will continue to be that voice, both locally, regionally, and internationally. My charitable works will not stop. I will continue my commitment to the various NGOs and charities which I support, and the schools to which I have committed support and pledged support, such as Scarborough RC School and the Pentecostal Light and Life School. To my wonderful and beautiful fiancée, Alicia, I say to you, God did not make us to break us. He may twist us, bend us, and put us through the fire, but He did not make us to break us. And our wedding will proceed on 27th December, as promised, and we hope to see as many media people there as we have here today. Thank you.
Any thoughts, Wendell?
I have lots of thoughts. You sure you want them?
Well, we are a talk show.
Okay, so let me talk. I understand fully what Mr. George spoke about in terms of allegations or accusations of that nature, how it can destroy someone. And I agree with him that some people it's done to them maliciously. I mean, Lord knows I know that, you know what I mean? Even though I face something similar, not of a similar nature, but similar accusations, you know what I mean? So I understand that part and I support that part. Whether it should be made public now, in light of the fact that it's a matter to be investigated and to go through its process, I don't know, because I mean, the legal luminaries, one of whom you are, has to advise and say, is that proper to do that now or wait and let the process go through, you know what I mean? But by then your reputation could be a mess, you know, your life could be destroyed. So I understand that part of it. The part with the marriage at the end, though, I don't understand that. I don't know maybe that's I don't know. Mr. George has to be battling with so many different things now in his personal capacity, and especially as someone who's a public figure. It must be very hard on him. It must take a toll on him. You know what I mean? So, I mean, how he deals with it, time will tell if he's successful or if he's not. You know what I mean? Because I look at this movie. I binge watch this thing. Sometimes when I'm home, Law and Order, Sexual Victims, SVU, Sexual Victims Unit. There's a particular series that runs, and I watch that regularly. You know, so do you see that what he's going through there? You see that playing out in those movies all the time. And then sometimes what happens is that one person make that accusation and it goes before the, and I'm not saying this in concerning this case, people just listen to me. I'm giving you an idea what I see on the movies, and then bam, it explodes into 3 and 4 that people start coming out and thinking, and you don't know what to make of it. It's happened with Bill Cosby. It's happened with other people in the PDD. It happened with so many other people in that arena, in the international arena, where one accusation triggers a whole series of accusations. You know, so I mean, I wish him the best. He is someone who's been good to us, good to our program. You know, always available, always smiling. I mean, so it must be tough what he's going through. It must be tough, you know. So I mean, it must be tough also too for the alleged victim, if such a thing exists, you know, especially as a young lady. I think she's 22 years old, so she's a child. All my children. I mean,
the victim exists because I said the victim exists.
Yeah. No, I mean in terms of the allegations, you know.
Well, innocent until proven guilty. So
yeah,
the prosecution has to have evidence that meets the bar beyond reasonable doubt. You know, the sub judice commentary, which is I think what you initially referenced.
Yes.
In terms of discussing the case, even though he doesn't discuss the case specifically,
no,
he is discussing his innocence.
Yes.
So now that sub judice rule, even though I understand its purpose, I'm not a fan of it. I always believe freedom of the press and freedom of speech should trump that. That's my opinion. Judges are free to disagree with me. That's my opinion. I feel you should be entitled to discuss cases and discuss it ad nauseum, however you feel to discuss it. And I know people have the concern is that, oh, you will sway members of the jury because they're hearing all the discussions. I think people are more intelligent than that.
Yeah.
And this is not, you know, the 18th century. But it is what it is. It's still there. I don't know why it has never really been challenged in court by media houses. There's so many things that media houses collectively can challenge in terms of freedom of the press, but of course everybody is in a silo, so everybody is battling with each other, so they're not interested in moving the issue of freedom of speech and freedom of the press forward from a legislative point of view in challenging some of the restrictions. That's one of the restrictions sub judice. So he didn't really discuss the case per se, even though he referenced it tangentially. He referenced it, you know, in terms of his innocence, and he's kind of close to the line, in my opinion, because he's talking about, you know, the African diaspora and people liking to bring black people down, black people trying to bring black people down, and which is of course an inference to the victim.
Yes. But that's a human problem there.
Yeah, that's
And
the,
that had nothing to
that's the
do
way
with
you can
it.
read it. Yeah, he's talking about the victim. And that so to me there is a real coming close to that line, if not crossing it sometimes and coming back. You know, like you dip your foot over and then you pull it back. But he did say that Pamela Elder, I know in that press conference yesterday, Martin did indicate that Pamela Elder would answer questions concerning the case itself. He referred the media to Pamela Elder. And of course, Pamela Elder is not really going to say anything beyond, she's not going to break that sub judice rule, so to speak. So it's it's challenging from a human perspective for everybody.
Well, Melchizedek raised something in the chat just now. There, so the public is not the jury. Is he acting on sentiments from the public? Maybe the victim should hold a press conference too, and about the situation. Wouldn't that be a full-fledged bacchanal then?
Well, victims generally don't like to come forward because they remain unnamed. So. And should be a young attorney. She wouldn't.
Well, she wasn't unnamed. She wasn't unnamed. She was named.
Well, I mean, generally unnamed.
Unnamed if it's underage, an underage person.
No. But generally victims of sexual crimes, they don't name them,
Okay.
Generally. Alleged sexual crimes. But she's a young attorney, so from of course what the media has said so far. So, she may not want to come out, and she would think about the repercussions for her career, and all of those things will start to play into it.
But I would imagine that.
All of those things would start to play into it. It must, it would have taken us an amount of courage to challenge and bring the investigation to this point. But of course, innocent until proven guilty. That's how our system of justice operates. And of course, Martin has been, a regular. Well, he hasn't been a regular yet in terms of the current program, but he is somebody who has been very friendly to us in terms of discussing issues. So we probably will get him on, to discuss around it, I guess.
The challenges and so on.
Because you got to keep it in that kind of area.
This is not going to end now, Because even if you remember, that there was another high-profile person who was accused, and people were gobsmacked when the accusation came out. He's a well-known contractor in the country. Well, I mean, I can say his name because it was public and it was all over the papers. Mr. Emil Elias at one point in time, you remember? That became very public where he was accused. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it happens. I mean, how to treat with it, as I say, that's for you. How everybody will treat with it differently. You know what I mean? We've never seen or heard from him since. You know what I mean? So some people will treat it differently. Martin George decided.
It's always stressful. I would say that. We didn't do the news headlines because I just went into that. And the other things to discuss, maybe we can go through the news headlines quickly and then start taking calls because time is ticking. So I'll do the news day. And I could start one time. Our main stories: Minister, public to be consulted on CSME free movement. I don't know why the public has to be consulted on CSME free movement. That is something that the Caribbean has been discussing for years and years and years and years. Why do you need the public to weigh in on that? Just enacted. The Caribbean is with all due respect, CARICOM, sometimes all real sickening. All it was supposed to introduce that free movement thing since July last year. We are now a year later. In the CARICOM heads of government, they agreed of July last year that they were going to implement it. It was May at one point and then moved to July. Up to now, nobody can't do it. CARICOM sickening,
CARICOM.
I mean, how slow can you be? And now Sean Sober saying, oh, the public has to be consulted on CSME free movement. For what? For what? People would I think generally Caribbean people would love the idea that they could move to wherever they want, work wherever they want in one Caribbean space like the EU. What you consultant? You were supposed to take it to Parliament. I don't know, no?
Headline.
Is it colonialism? We're still feeling it. We can't make up. Neglect led to UK visa situation. That's another headline. And he did talk about that yesterday. And he kind of blamed the PNM. He said that there were concerns raised by the UK, and the UK didn't, and the last administration didn't do anything to address those concerns, including some legislative input. And he said, but they have a meeting with the Home Office, a virtual meeting next week, and they're going to see how they can resolve it in terms of whatever they need to put in place. A version of that is what he said. Lawyer wants police to probe leak info into Martin George case. Refinery committee formed to report in 4 months. And Carly Bay murder reignites calls for security measures. Over to you, Wendell, and the Express.
All right. Munilal orders probe into billion-dollar error. That's Energy Minister Dr. Udal Munilal. The merit points remain for 6 offenses. All right. ITF gold and silver for TNT. Legal action pending, and that's concerning football. And let me get some of the other stories. Help me find my husband, and that's not about Juliet and Sherwin. That's about some other people. I'm just teasing her, Sherwin. Missing Scott Ramcharan found murder. That was a very strange and sad story. Fisherman killed. And you know, it brings me to mind about people who taking chances, going and contacting other people about selling something, about buying something, and going into strange areas. It's happening way too often. People, don't do it. If you have to do it, I mean, because I've bought stuff that I've found someone selling on social media, you know what I mean? But always be a little more discreet about it. Nobody needs to know, and you could do it in safe spaces. There are safe spaces you could do it. I don't want to say police station because police station ain't always a safe space. You understand? But I'm just saying you have to be a little more mindful of meeting a complete stranger, going and getting cash. First beginning, the risk is when you're going for the cash that somebody in the bank watching you. You know what I mean? So it may not have anything to do with the person you're buying this stuff from. But just be careful now, and let's stop getting caught like that, you know. And people are being killed now. They're not just being robbed; they're being killed. Right? Reef tour operators boycott No Man's Land after violent attack. And what caused the whale shark to die? Of course, a whale shark. I don't know if you all saw the story down by Chagramas there. Died. It was observed injured, and it eventually died. You know. So those are the stories trending in today's Express.
All right, and in the Guardian today, well, Michaela Pandey is on a number of the newspapers today. Stop the bullying. Michaela strongly condemns recent government attack on president, independent senators, and judiciary. And then there's a story with Munilal, Young Spa on 6 billion energy contract error claims, and most demerit points to be scrapped, but criminal driving offenses remain. NPTA backs cops in schools, but wants a deeper solution to youth violence. Of course, Sobers blames former government for UK visa restrictions, and Alexander urges police to embrace technology in crime fight. There's some of the stories in The Guardian.
All right. And just to confirm, the Billions are in fact from Labrie. Derek Billion is in fact a Billion from Labrie, to answer Susie B. All right? All right, so those are all our headlines for today. Richard Ragobasing, you gone in frozen. The chat is a buzz with all manner of things this morning.
Well, I mean, this is the point at which we can open up the lines. Because of course today's show is dedicated to you, where you can talk about whatever the hell you want to talk about. So there's the number. So 2811315, 2811315. We can open up the lines and Mandela can come up with a poll.
What is going on here?
Richard, so Charles, you realize a slip of the tongue is a word to the wise. You hear how that man does be using my life stories for plays. He said I could come up with a play.
Yes, yes, it came out.
Oh, you see it.
Come up with a poll
And
for this morning, sir.
Somebody suggests you could use "Help Me Find My Husband" as your next play. Anyway, all right. So we're taking some calls now, and I'll come up with a poll, Richard, which is, that ain't hard for me to do. Yeah, and polls are synonymous.
Yeah, whatever.
All right, so people, remember we can take your calls. I think we should urge people as to how they proceed with that Martin George story. Okay. Yeah.
So 2811315, 2811315. We're taking some of your calls at this point. And of course, Ryan, if you see some of the chats you want to read out, you could also indicate that.
Right. Yeah. So we have a caller online. Caller, good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
It was so unfortunate what Mr. George did, right? And Mr. Aglet, saying you are right about the sub-judice rule. But I think when you consider what it tries to cover, Mr. George came perilously close. And I'm saying an attorney of his vintage should know that with regard to sexual offenses, the fact of the matter is the law was amended so that the sexual history of a victim could now be challenged in the court. And that could have been part of his defense. I think it was unnecessary what he did yesterday. That is, in my opinion, it was unnecessary. And it didn't
unnecessary, you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was unnecessary. It didn't. And I'm saying unnecessary because of what I said previously, in terms of how the defense could be conducted and the fact that he has a very senior and seasoned defense counsel in his corner. I think he should have left all the talking to her.
Which is what happened in most cases. Yes, you're right.
And as a query about sexual offenses, Mr. Stevens, and how it enters through the court. Remember, in our jurisdiction, these matters are heard in camera, meaning it is only the victim and the accused, as well as defense counsel, the jury, and the judge, and other court staff would be in the court. These matters are not generally open to members of the public to go in and so on. And therefore, that is why they are reported in a particular way, regardless of the age of the victim and so on. I mean, most of the times you only know the identity of the accused at the end of the trial when a verdict has been handed down, right? And whether they walk free or go free. Second issue I want to address is the scrapping of the demerit points. I'm saying to you that before the introduction of the demerit points, we had a precipitous drop in road fatalities annually. As a fact, or they could bring Sarah Basses and he could provide the figures. And I'm saying when you remove most of the penalties, we would once again see the increase of road fatalities, serious RTAs, and traffic offenses would explode. I predict that they will become on par with murders, because that is where we were heading with the road fatality and road traffic accidents, RTAs then, across the country. So, you know what I mean? I mean, governance has to be responsible and so on. Perhaps you could have tweaked, for me, the biggest thing with the demerit points was tweaking how long the demerit points stayed on your permit for certain offenses and the category of offenses that you had demerit points for. That could have been tweaked and so on. But to just leave the 6 major ones, sad.
Okay.
Sad.
Okay, thanks very much, caller, for chiming in there on that situation. Mr. Patrick, good morning to you.
Good morning, Mr. Chalu and Mr. Wendell and Mr. Raghubal Singh. Morning.
Morning, Mr. Patrick.
You know, when you listen to the news about the opening of a Petrotrin, they say they'll have some team go and find out within 4 months' time to bring a report. I can remember that some people was on the program, Ryan and certain men. They say the best thing to do is to break down the refinery and build over one. Because
Well, I know when we had Karen Sipasad Beach, and she certainly suggested that.
And it's had a guy, he was some expert and all.
Krishna Prasad.
Yeah. Because a material park up for so much long, 20 years. If you have a motor car park up for so much years, the whole exhaust pipe just rotten out after a while. So, and from what I listened last night, they have how much millions of dollars still in the refinery to upgrade it right now? Securing it or something like that? So, boy, I really don't know what's going on. I know this UK visa issue. When you listen to what's going on over the whole world, everybody implementing visas in the country now. You know? Everybody implementing visas, keeping the border more secure and different things. So I don't know how the minister will blame the government for the past for UK instituting visas to Trinidad and Tobago. I don't know how he could reach to that. Understand? But I over the check. As a matter of fact, American citizens now how to get an EPA something now to go in different countries in the world before they could have used their passport and just go. This is what? Electronics, something like that. Now, them have to get documents now to go in certain part of the world, even in the Caribbean now. So everybody trying to organize the business and make a dollar. That's what's going on right now. So have a good day.
Yeah, okay, thanks very much, Mr. Patrick. Mr. Billy, good day to you.
Yes, good morning. It's a Patrick too, but Billy.
Yes, that's why I went that direction.
Good morning to you. Good show. I come in and facts in terms of what I see playing out in the society. I am very, very uncomfortable with the state of crime in this country. So Charles and Raghubal and Wendell. I was very partial during the other regime when they were there. When what is his name? Fred was the Minister of National Security. I want to be consistent, and I do not like what is happening in terms of crime. Too much people are getting killed in this small 1.4 million people. And I make a client call to the Honorable Prime Minister, Minister of Homeland Security, Minister of Justice, to hit the ground and stop these killers from having a freeway in this country, in this society. I am saying this morning, too much killings. Look what happened to the two cousins somewhere in Maruga. Again, a fisherman yesterday. Again, some man who going again. I don't know why they're doing that. Going to buy some vehicle. This killing is unacceptable. And I was voiceless when the PNM was in power. I will continue saying they have to work on this killing. If you're dead, you can't do nothing. You can't buy house. You can't buy nothing. Work on this with this government. I call on you to work on it. Get on the ground and solve these crimes. Stop these crimes. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Billy. Yeah. All right, that's what I have for the call so far, guys.
So this is your platform this Friday morning, so you can call and talk about whatever you want to talk about. There's the number. We are giving you free rein to raise whatever issue you want to raise on this Friday morning. 281-1315, 281-1315. You can direct call us or you can WhatsApp call us before we head to our morning poll this morning.
All right. So you want one more call before the morning poll, or you want to go to the morning poll?
You could go to one more call.
All right. Okay. Yeah. Because I don't want nobody to buff me up, Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Hi, Miss
You all
Sampson.
don't find the country very quiet. If Dr. Rowley did send home 2 persons, all now Soroje and everybody else protesting. Look at how much people are sent home, how much people are on the breadline. Pretty soon the crime will go up. Madam says she will take care of the crime. How would you take care of the crime when so many people are being homeless? They will be homeless just now because they can't pay the mortgage. Like the phrase they say Kamala all the time was Rowley this, Rowley this, Rowley that. You are hearing Kamala this, Kamala that. Nobody protesting. Construction going on the house down the road there. Yes, my money. You all have a good day. Tell me where the money come from. All of a sudden, heliport probably going back. Go
Miss
figure.
Sampson, you're not easy, you know. Yeah. Are you guys ready with the morning poll?
It's already up.
Long time. I sent it long time.
It's already up on the screen.
All right.
Yeah. So the people who listening and are not viewing, you're not going to read it.
Then read it, Sir Charles, if you're concerned about them.
What level of snottiness is this?
That's not snarkiness, that's snottiness. All right, so the poll is, do you believe the sub judice rule should be abandoned to allow commentary on cases? That's our poll this morning. It's concerning what we discussed at the...
What happened to you? You didn't take your vitamins this morning. I find you very low-key.
My apologies again. Do you believe the sub
You have something going on in your hotel room that we need to know about?
Do you believe, do you believe the sub judice rule should be abandoned? I have lighting problems. That's what I have.
That's Sir Charles.
Apparently, you can get the rude boy in the keys. Can you leave the rude boy?
I don't have any rude boy.
Oh, God. So anyway, the morning poll this morning. Do you believe the sub judice rule should be abandoned to allow commentary on cases? Yes or no? That's our poll this morning. What's your opinion?
So, good morning to you. What do you say?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the poll. I was trying to call you.
Oh, this is Captain Ron. Captain Ron, we polling about the sub judice rule.
Yeah.
Do you believe the sub judice rule should be abandoned to allow commentary on cases? That's our poll this morning.
Yes, I say yes. About time. Yes.
Okay. Thanks very much, Captain Ron.
Do you want to go through some of the votes before we go to the 7 o'clock news, Wendell?
Sure. Miguel Gonzalez, yes. Melchizedek, yes. Lester Cradwell, yes. Magic, no. Terry Ann George, yes. Terrence Roach, no. DL, yes. Cheryl Henry didn't vote. Margaret Thomas, yes. Ram Narish didn't vote. Slick Money Grip, no. Far Rockaway, no. Michael Oliver, yes. Wayne Joseph, yes. Diane Payne, yes. Sherwin Kerr, yes. Cheryl Henry, yes. Eva Smith, yes. And we have 20 seconds, yes. 20 seconds left to vote. Michael Robinson also says yes. So those are our votes so far. And when we could break for the news now, and when we come back, we'll take the rest of the votes, all right?
All right.
We start from Ram Narish when we come back.
All right. So 7 a.m. news is next.
The news you need, the clarity you deserve. Local, regional, global. This is Net Radio News Now.
This is your news update for Friday, July 11th, 2025. I am Amanda Mitchell with New Era TT Radio and M&E TV. Patriotic Front political leader Mikola Pandey has expressed concern over the UNC's attacks on President Christine Kangaloo and independent senators, as well as the mass layoffs of CPEP workers, calling it governance with a heavy hand. In a Facebook post yesterday, Pandey urged the UNC to pursue constitutional reform rather than engage in cyberbullying and divisive politics. She noted that the UNC-led People's Partnership missed a key reform opportunity in 2010 despite holding a 2/3 parliamentary majority. President Kangaloo, speaking at a women's leadership conference earlier this week, acknowledged attacks on her impartiality, and questioned whether her gender played a role in the criticism's intensity. UNC MPs denied any gender bias, attributing concerns to her former PNM affiliation. Pandey called on both major parties to put country before politics. Contractor Eastman Enterprise Limited has filed a lawsuit against CPEP Company Limited, challenging the immediate termination of its contract on June 27th. The legal action comes amid widespread fallout from CPEP's dismissal of over 10,000 workers and hundreds of contractors. Justice Margaret Mohammed has given CPEP until July 14th to respond, with a virtual injunction hearing set for July 18th. The claim, led by senior counsel Larry Lala, seeks to halt what it calls unlawful dismissal. The PNM, through spokesperson Faris Al-Rawi, criticized the UNC government for abandoning vulnerable workers, calling the action callous. Thousands remain unemployed with no relief measures announced. Director of Public Prosecutions Roger Gaspar has responded to a High Court order regarding delays in filing an indictment against Earl Richards, one of 10 men charged with the 2014 murder of senior counsel Dana Sitahal. Gaspar confirmed he's leaning toward indictment, citing cogent evidence, but denied undue delay. He attributed the time lapse to case complexity, systemic constraints, and the need to thoroughly assess evidence, including CCTV footage and intercepted communications. Gaspar noted that Richards' committal in July 2020 followed a 4-year preliminary inquiry, with COVID-19 and late receipt of electronic files contributing to delays. The search for Scott Rambaran, a 38-year-old man from Orapuna Gardens, Piarco, ended tragically yesterday after his body was discovered inside his car in Mausika. Rambaran left home on July 8th with $25,000 cash, reportedly to purchase a vehicle in Maloney, but never returned. His white Toyota Corolla was found abandoned in bushes off Mausika Road, south by Hunter's Search and Rescue, with Rambaran's body sprawled over the passenger seat. Police are investigating the circumstances surrounding his death. A doubles vendor was tied up and robbed at gunpoint in her home on Tuesday afternoon. 2 masked men, one armed with a gun and the other with a cutlass, stormed through her partially open back door around 1 p.m. They bound the woman and ransacked her house, stealing $45,000 in cash, jewelry, a Samsung phone worth $1,200, and her black Toyota Hilux valued at $140,000. The suspects fled toward Rochard Road. The victim later freed herself and contacted police, but the suspects and vehicle remain missing. You are listening to news on New Era TT Radio. In international news, at least 120 people, including 36 children, have died in Texas Hill Country flash floods, with Kerr County suffering the heaviest casualties. Many victims were linked to a nearby Christian summer camp. Early warning failures may have worsened the tragedy, with the first official alert sent nearly 90 minutes after a firefighter's initial request, and residents not notified until hours later. Kerr County Sheriff Larry Letha said the emergency response timeline is under review, with over 160 people still missing, including campers and a counselor from Camp Mystic. The National Weather Service had issued flood warnings ahead of time, but poor cell service and alert fatigue may have delayed evacuations. President Trump declared a federal disaster, allowing FEMA to assist in recovery efforts involving over 2,100 responders, drones, helicopters, and cadaver dogs. That concludes your news update for today. I'm Amanda Mitchell for New Era TT Radio and M&E TV. The Breakfast Show with Wendell, Richard, and Sir Charles continues right after this short break.
That was news now. Stay informed with New Era TT Radio, Net Radio.
Your mid-morning just got better. Join Sir Charles for the mid-morning mix and mingle, where good music, real talk, health, and family matters come together, and your voice is heard. Whether you're at work, on the go, or just taking a break, this is the perfect mix to keep you engaged, informed, and entertained. The mid-morning mix and mingle Weekdays, 9 a.m. to 12 noon on New Era TT Radio, Net Radio.
Men, women, tired of the invasive, painful old methods of testing prostate and breasts?
The Institute of Health and Fitness Clinic and Wellness Center offers comprehensive and non-invasive diagnostic testing, which indicates the nature and extent of diseases and tests your nutritional levels. Our quick testing can identify early signs of problems by evaluating many of the bodily functions, such as male and female sexual function, gastrointestinal function, liver function, kidney function, thyroid function, heart and brain function, and also cancer testing. Results are comparable with other medical lab tests without the use of needles or embarrassing specimen cups, and is pain-free. We also offer all natural treatments. Visit us now at number 79 St. Vincent Street, Tunapuna, or call 492-7397 or 289-6363.
Mornings just got better. You're locked into Net Radio Breakfast Show, fueling your day with the best music and real talk.
And she was tight while I was grounded. She high in flight. Hoytonian steel band blazing a jam. She turn, she bam bam, lick down it bam. Don't do that, don't do that, don't do that, girl, don't do that. Don't back back on me, don't back back, don't back back on me, don't back back. Dancing with you, man, you only jamming down me. Bam bam. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Yeah, don't do that. Don't back back on me. Don't back back. Don't back back on me. Don't back back. You look so pretty, really sexy. Boom boom look so healthy, jamming on me purposely. Darling, don't do that to me. If she was serious, I won't complain. But this mischievousness in she bring, deliberately blowing my mind. The more I want she, the more she whine. Don't do that, don't do that, don't do that, girl, don't do that. Don't back back on me, don't back back, don't back back on me, don't back back. Dancing with you, man, you only jamming down the pan with your bam bam. Don't do that, don't do that, don't do that, yeah, don't do that. Don't back back on me, don't back.
Morning vibes, fresh energy. This is the Net Radio Breakfast Show.
Really sexy. Boom boom look so healthy.
All right, everybody, as we welcome you back inside hour number 2. Remember, you are listening to the New Era TT Radio. And of course, this is the Breakfast Show. On this Friday morning, the music of the Mighty Sparrow, as we celebrated the Mighty Sparrow all week here on the Era TT Radio. All right, so let's see what is happening before we get back inside of the Breakfast Show.
Chancellor Auto Services Limited, your one-stop auto repair shop, located at number 1 Industrial Lane, Chancellor, right opposite the brewery on the Eastern Main Road. Yes, we do it all. Repairs to all makes and models, from your everyday sedan to SUVs, light trucks, pickups, and panel vans. We're also the sole distributors of Davanti tires, certified VTS inspection station, plus a wide range of services: oil change, front end and suspension repairs, tune-ups, tire alignment, batteries, electrical work, radiator and cooling system, AC repairs, and accessories galore. We offer pickup and drop-off service too. Call us today at 662-6545 or 662-6572. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Chancellor Auto Services Limited, number 1 Industrial Lane, Chancellor. We do it all.
S&H Rumbox, 137 Western Main Road, St. James, for all your retail and wholesale needs for alcohol and non-alcoholic beverages. Call us at 686-0599 or visit us at 137 Western Main Road, St. James. S&H Rumbox, drinking out of the box.
Looking for trusted, affordable security and property services? Horatio Services has you covered across Trinidad and Tobago. We offer battle security, canine patrols, 24/7 protection, and all sorts of private investigations, discreet, professional, and effective. But that's not all. We also provide construction. From building to renovation, we bring your vision to life. Landscaping, keep your outdoors looking sharp and inviting. Maintenance, repairs, upkeep, and everything in between. At Horatio Services, you get professionalism, reliability, and personal care. Whether it's safety or property support you need, visit us at Marino Street, Arima, or call 388-7070. Today, Horatio Services, protection, precision, peace of mind.
Advertise with us on New Era TT Radio, the fastest growing streaming platform for talk in Trinidad and Tobago. Audio and video ads welcome. Elevate your brand with us. Connect with us at newerattradio@yahoo.com or call us at 299-5156. Now what are you waiting for?
All right, ready to go back into our poll, Richard? We have some more results coming from the after the 7 o'clock news. I think I had promised to start from Ramnarish. All right.
Somewhere.
When you're ready for the count, Richard, let me know. And if you could put back up the poll for us so we could remind people of what the poll is, because we have about 3 minutes left that they could still vote. Do you believe the sub-judice rule should be abandoned to allow commentary on cases? And of course, this is relative to what the matter we were discussing on the video that we played this morning. Ramnaresh says yes. Richard Wendell had a hard night. Clint Batiste says, sorry, no. Anthony Atwell, yes. Andre, no. Derek Billowin, yes. Josie Richardson, yes. Jason Samuel said I have to start from Alistair Hart. No, I did. Ramnarish was the first person I had to start from. CJ from New York says yes. Brennan Smith, no. Marlon Motley, yes. Diana Hamill, no. Carol Guevara says yes. And Garfield Hazel also says yes. All right. So those are the votes that I have on the stream. I don't know if Sir Charles has any.
Yeah, I have a couple of them. Of course, Pauline is always here early, and Pauline says yes. Sexy Reds says no. Sean Ram says no. Annan is back. I haven't seen him for a little while. He says yes. Frank Andrews says yes. Laverne says no. Wayne Edwards says no. Joseph Clement says yes. And Mr. Billy says yes. Patrick Billy says yes. Horatio, let me see what Horatio says. Yes, Horatio says yes. All right, so that's what I have on this side.
All right, it looks and sounds like a close poll.
Yeah, and Miss Sampson says yes.
Right, and Hayden Davis.
Sampson.
Yeah, we have a Hayden Davis coming in with a vote of yes also.
Yeah.
All right,
is that it?
Looks like that.
Yeah. Jason Samuel, stop provoking me. I don't want to know anything about cricket.
All right, so our poll this morning. Do you believe the sub judice rule should be abandoned to allow commentary on cases? We had 43 people voting on the poll this morning, and of the 43 people, 31 of you said yes, and 12 of you said no. So 31 of you said yes, and 12 of you said no, for a total of 43. So 43 people voted in the allotted time. The poll was, do you believe the sub judice rule should be abandoned to allow commentary on cases? The majority of people said yes, it should be abandoned to allow commentary on cases. There was a minority that said no, but it wasn't a small minority. It was,
I actually thought it was closer than that.
Yeah, it was a substantial a minority, but the vast majority said no, and the yeses were, the people who said yes were by far majority. They were like double the nays. So the yeas have it this morning for our poll. The poll is now done. Bam. It's done. So we can now get on with more calls concerning whatever you want to talk about. The lines are now open. The poll is finished. So 281-1315, 281-1315.
All right, so let's hear from you this morning. Good morning to you, caller.
Good morning, gentlemen. Gentlemen, you all have to be psychic. Because in my ignorance, forgive my ignorance, but I was clueless about the sub-judiciary rule. Yesterday I was having a conversation with someone because I wanted to talk about the Martin Joseph situation on another station. And
Martin George. Leave Martin Joseph, let him rest in peace.
Sorry. And the host of the program shoot me them quick. And Martin before the court. And I'm like, but we talk about Diddy case, right to the case. We talk about so many cases internationally. I did not know there was a judgment forbidding people from speaking about cases in Trinidad and Tobago. So I am educated.
It's a Trinidad and Tobago thing.
Right. I'm a little more educated this morning, and I want to thank you for your program for doing that. But when I say that, I have to say, that is why sometimes we be referred to as a banana republic. What is that? What kind of thing is that? Grown people, and that matter happening in the whole country, and people can't talk about you. We want us, and raw talkers always use a phrase, and it's a very real thing. This hush culture we have in Trinidad and Tobago. You understand that you mustn't. To police do something, you mustn't talk about it. It's under investigation for 20 years, and we have can't find out what the case is. If somebody do a crime, you would never get an interview with the criminal as to why you did the crime, why you kill your mother and your father. Closure is never something we seek because of the hush culture we have in this country. You don't need to know that.
What would be interesting to find out, Lincoln, is what is the punishment for it? What are the consequences if, in fact, you breach that? I don't know.
You mean if you do that, if you talk about it?
Yes. What are the consequences?
Yes, that is interesting because I was mortified.
You are fined.
I was mortified when this fella Yassim Abu Bakr didn't attend the commission. What was it? The commission of inquiry, and the fine for it was $300. I'm like, really? We really serious in this country?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yes. It was $300 in charge a man for not attending a commission of inquiry. And I'm like, wow. So maybe they find some minuscule juvenile when there's a very interesting question, and I would really like to know the answer to that.
Yeah,
I was told that you
this morning, gentlemen. Have a good day. There's a lot of things I wanted to discuss, but I'll give other callers a chance, and if I get the opportunity, I'll call back.
Yeah, take care.
Yeah. I don't think it's as minuscule as some people believe it is. I think in where we were in the last incarnation, there was a situation that that Chris and Spangalang were summoned.
Yes, by Herbert Volney, no less
Yes,
than Herbert Volney.
something that they were thinking so.
Whatever happened? What would they find Chris and Spangalang?
I think the station had to defend that situation.
Right. They were found, I think, in contempt of court for discussing a matter in the afternoon show. Yes. Yes. I remember.
Good morning to you, caller.
I heard about Volney.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good morning, gentlemen. Norfolk, Virginia, front and center. Can you hear me?
Yes, live.
Yeah. I'm in my portable. I'm in my mobile office. It has a wheel, something called a steering wheel in it. Anyway. Hey,
Virginia, Virginia, when you say you went out to Sweden, I see you went to the actual Sweden.
No,
Sweden.
I put in parenthesis the other day that town of Sweden. You see, we Trinidadians, we just hear, you know, but we don't listen. I'm not digging here. That's okay. You know? So Sweden just stood out, right? But that's okay. Yeah, it happens. We are men. That's okay. And you know what women say about men and their listening skills, right? Right? We hear but we don't listen. Yeah. But anyway, hey, just two quick points I just want to bring up here. In relation to the Martin, what's the gentleman's last name?
George.
George, right. Martin George. Look, I say first on record here. One is presumed innocent until guilty, right? However, you know, in this politically correct world that we still involved in, and I can tell you from my personal experience, like I had an assignment just this last April here, right? And I work with various people, you know, in another state, and I had to. There was a young lady who I had to work with just for a couple of days, and the day, just 2 days into it, I followed her to her vehicle to assist her in taking stuff out. And when she opened that, fellas, I could have swear that she get good stuff from Beach. It could have knocked me out when she opened her doors, right? Right? You know what I'm talking about, right? And it was vamping so much. Kush, boy, Kush. That's what I was looking for, right? And do you know, she had the gall that same evening to ask me if she can take a ride with me. Well, I don't want to use the wrong term here, but right, drive with me, because we went in on separate vehicles. And I'm like, what? So I say, hey, you know what? Follow the chain of command. I contacted the chain of command, and I told them, and I said, let me tell you something. Although in the Commonwealth of the great state of Virginia, blue as it is, Democrat as it is, they still have common sense, at least in this state, with my Jamaican Lieutenant Governor, Republican, former Marine, hoorah, well, Marine, never a former Marine. But here's what, and I say, the next thing she says, he say, and he did this, and he touched or whatever. And remember, fellas, there was a movement called Believe Her, right? Believe Her.
So you end up in trouble.
Yeah, man. Yeah, what?
You end up in trouble.
No. I didn't end up in trouble, because that same evening she called me, I didn't answer right away. I went to the chain of command and I said, listen, I don't know if it's custom with you guys, but in my state and my name, forget that. They will just say guilty straight out, right? Because as man, you just stand a chance. Believe Her, that great Believe Her movement, especially the liberals, like to do, you know, they back that full time, those Democrat liberals. Anyway, the liberal Democrats. Anyway, so, and they ended up having to organizers some way or the other, because I say, nah, that ain't right. So that's why I'm saying innocent until proven guilty. Hey, Richard, I give you compliment you about that line you spoke about, that thin legal line there. And I think it could work two ways. He might be helping this case a lot. But the fact is, being such a public figure and having your fiancé next year and all that. Remember, I used to live in the crumbling Empire State of New York. What happened with the last 3 governors? You can recall one wasn't married, the most recent one, but the other 2, they had a wife standing right next to them, and their wife not in the picture no more, right? So bad move, George. Mr. George, as far as I'm concerned. Now, lastly, I want to touch on the good interview you did with Mr. The guy from the TNT Chamber of Commerce. Yeah, right. Yeah, great interview. And one thing I forgot to add yesterday in my contribution, when I was saying, I am not saying that government shouldn't be involved with minimum wage adjustment and so on, but instead of doing it from a political aspect, let market forces determine that. Because what happens, and we see it, and before anybody tell me I'm drinking the red Kool-Aid or the blue Kool-Aid or whatever, Democrat or Republican, let me tell you something. But especially again, a certain other side, right? What they end up doing, instead of making an environment for healthy business, environment and opportunities, they end up creating and backing winners or making winners or losers within many industries. And that's why I'm saying that they should use market forces to determine stuff like minimum wage. Because remember, in the crumbling Empire State in New York, Kathy Hochul, the Joker, she went ahead and she gone and they did it in Chicago too and other places. Oh yes, people working at McDonald's and oh sorry, I don't want to call
all right, Virginia.
Establishments. But what I'm saying though is that it ended up so much that telling them that they should get a wage up to qualified people in other fields, right? Right now, AI take over. You could go to certain states and guess what? AI making your burger for you. So that's basically the situation here. So government end up making, choosing and making winners and losers, which whenever the government gets involved, bad news. Anyway, guys, you all have a great day and take care.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks very much, Virginia.
Yeah, covered a lot of stuff there, boy.
Yeah.
You can ask if this is a Republican convention.
Good morning to you, caller.
Morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
I want to go back to the COVID issue a bit. I'm tempted to do so based on an editorial I was listening to yesterday evening, and it concerns Dr. Roshan Parasram. He's somebody I admire because, let's say we worked in the same field. And when initially that broke, I remember looking at him make a presentation, and I thought he had handled it very well. And I remember telling an individual, I said, at the end of this exercise, he will be worthy of a national award. And I watched him handle that thing along with his other colleagues. And basically, in a situation like that, what you try to do is break the chain of infection. Hence the reason, wash hands and wear masks, and that's a general thing, until we could get a vaccine if a vaccine wasn't available. And they handled it pretty well. And what was astounding to me, in listening to the presentation yesterday, the person played a tape, 2 tapes. One of the Prime Minister condemning vaccines, advancing all sorts of nebulous and strange ways to deal with it, and basically leading the charge of 61 legal actions against Dr. Parasram, because clearly he was the person leading. The politicians were just there to communicate to the public at times and to reassure the public. And then to hear a tape of the Prime Minister praising Mr. Modi for providing vaccines and all the love he had for us and all kind of thing. And I am one who like to expose hypocrisy. And to see that in the same breath that she was condemning Dr. Parasram, a citizen who worked so hard and would have sacrificed family time and all that thing in that critical period. And for him to be condemned so, and then to hear praising Mr. Moody, I just want to put citizens on notice that politics is a very dubious profession, and that we must kind of look beyond just the facade that they put in front and try to determine the integrity of these people who we put in office.
Okay, thanks. Thanks very much.
Politicians may be of dubious character. I don't think that politics is a dubious profession. Politicians can be of a dubious character. That one we know for sure.
And we have plenty of them here.
Plenty.
Hi, good morning to you, caller.
Gentlemen, good morning.
Morning.
First up, I'd like to thank our retired police officer for his contributions. I think he's very articulate, and I'm sure that while he was in the service, he was a credit to the service. And as the Americans would say, sir, I'd like to thank you for your service. He makes very valuable contributions. As it relates to the demerit point system, I have been saying that the government should maintain the demerit system on what I call and what the Americans call moving violations, overtaking on the shoulder, illegal overtaking, bad overtaking, those moving violations that are very serious. Unless they're going to raise the penalties or the fines for some of these offenses, I think drivers going to continue to be driving in a haphazard manner that they have been. In my opinion, what I noticed when the announcement was first made, I don't know if anybody else as drivers noticed it, but it seems that all hell had started to break loose already. And the police would have to be more vigilant in terms of charging drivers and making sure that these fines are paid. Second of all, I don't know, and Mr. Stevens, I don't know if because as it's close to you, I had the unfortunate experience to have to be at the A&E at the St. James Medical Complex on the wee hours of Monday morning into Tuesday, and the electricity failed. And you know that the A&E does not have a backup generator to supply electricity to that section of the complex.
Okay, I'm
Which complex is that?
The St. James Medical Complex.
Yes.
So I'm not aware. I haven't been inside of there for a while, Mr. Joseph.
Yeah. So one portion, the newer wing of the upgraded wing of the complex seems to have a generator, but the most important part, which is the A&E department, which is on the eastern side, bordering George Cabal and St. Mary's Church, doesn't have a backup power supply. And the emergency lights came on and so on. And I think that, now this is no fault of the present administration, but it seems that the Northwest Regional Health Authority must be responsible for this. And I'm only highlighting it, hoping that someone would do something about it. And as I go, I will talk a poll question that you could consider maybe for next week, Mr. Stevens. Would you support property tax if it is the monies go directly to CPEP workers?
CPEP? Okay. All right.
Okay.
Have a good weekend, gentlemen.
Take care. Property tax supposed to go directly to the regional corporations, the municipal corporations. But listen, local government reform is a hoax. Okay? I maintain that. It will never happen.
You've said that for years.
Oh, Lord.
You don't lose all your friends over that already.
Fed up.
You've said that for years.
It's a hoax.
Oh, Lord. Caller, good morning to you.
Morning, gentlemen. So, I wanted to call back to talk about something. I've lost a little more confidence and hope in Trinidad and Tobago after hearing some news yesterday or day before, where The DPP, I'm putting it in my local parlance, the DPP is now crossing his I's and dotting his T's and making sure everything is in order in order to pursue the Dana Sitahal's case, charging the perpetrators responsible for the murder of Dana Sitahal. We have crossed 10 years of the murder of Dana Sitahal, who was a stalwart in this country, who was a prominent lawyer in this country, a female, all the things that we say we like to defend and we like to protect. And 10 years after we haven't started the case of Dana Sitahal yet, that gives me very little hope for the man that went to buy the car and get murdered, for all the people that get murdered this year. That gives me very little confidence in justice being delivered in Trinidad and Tobago. If a person like Dana Sitahal could get murdered, and who is in the fraternity of the judiciary, and more than 10 years after, they can't start the case yet. I sit here in my living room and watch Derek Chauvin, who killed a man in the United States. This policewoman who walked into the wrong apartment and killed a man. And so many incidents happen in the United States that within a year the case has started and finished. Most of them sentenced to life imprisonment and doing the jail time. And we still pussyfooting with one. I would imagine is a clear-cut case. And I don't know if we need to import people to teach our police how to build a case or teach our lawyers how to prosecute a case, but we seem to be doing a terrible job at that.
I mean, I don't know that it's a clear-cut case, Lincoln, but I agree with a lot of what you're saying there, that it's a downright embarrassing and a downright shame that even that in the death of Dana Sitahal, that matter cannot be resolved before the court, one way or the other, but that the matter is aired before the court system and has taken so long.
Well, in that case,
I'll take it a stage further. I just remembered the Vidya. I hope I'm pronouncing the right name. Who are calling the right name? Vidya Naipaul. That's the woman who owned the supermarket. Is that the right name?
Vidya Naipaul Kuhlman.
Right. Yeah. Right. Several years later, we now have to pay the people and them
$20 million.
$30 million. We have to pay them now. Several years later, what kind of case we building in this country? The police building and the law fraternity persecuted in this country, that you have to now turn around and pay people who you put in jail for almost 15 years or more. And my confidence in the justice system in this country is so low. And here what we doing? Here what we good at? Picking up doubles people on the promenade and locking up men with a joint stick of weed. And we're great at that.
Oh yes.
You understand?
Oh, yes. Let me give two other examples.
Thanks very much, Lincoln.
Thanks, Lincoln. Let me give two other examples. At least in Dana Sitahal's case, and in some of the other cases, they have arrested people and charged them. Whatever happened to Raymond Chukong? Killed, murdered right behind a police station. Whatever happened to Gladiator? Was anybody charged for his murder?
Not that I'm aware of.
No.
Murdered in Santa Cruz as he leaving his house. Dead. Nothing. Nothing.
And people quick to go on social media and say, oh, they sure it was this, they sure it was that. But guess what? The police supposed to investigate it regardless. What about the guy from the social activist media guy who was murdered in Trinity Mall?
Trinity Mall, yeah.
Nothing.
On and on with cases like that, eh?
Oh Lord, it's sad.
Yep. You have no clue what is going on.
None.
Miss Sampson, you're back with us.
Yeah, good morning. You caught me in the kitchen this morning. I did not get to greet you all properly. So good morning, gentlemen. Have a nice day.
All right.
Bye.
Thank you, Miss Sampson. That's very nice of you, Miss Sampson.
Yeah.
We should be getting breakfast.
I want to encourage others. But if we had a studio in one place where we could have gotten stuff, I'm sure a lot of these people would have been dropping off breakfast and so on. You know. Some of them can't do it all year, you know. They can't do it all the rich on a morning.
But but Wendell isn't Sir Charles working on a multi-story building?
Okay. We had to get oh, by the way, that's a good segue. Good morning, Mr. Amjad Ali from Furniture Plus. Morning, Gary ad from Chancellor. I'm sure Gary would have seen his ad this morning. I'm hopefully he's very happy. Good morning to Horatio from Horatio Enterprises, and from all the other people who will be coming on board very shortly to make sure that this show is a huge success.
Good morning to you, caller.
Hi, good morning, Sir Charles, Wendell, and Richard.
Good morning. I know this voice.
I have a concern. The American Embassy. Is it what I am seeing is true? Are we going to be paying $3,000 plus for an American visa?
Visa? More than this.
Well, we're not absolutely sure. Maybe we can get the American Embassy on maybe sometime next week.
Yeah, you guys need to get that on.
To clarify exactly. Yeah. The impression that I am getting is that you pay the regular fee that you pay now to have your visa processed, which you could get yes or no. And you could lose that money, that initial payment. The impression I'm getting, this is just my impression and may not be so, is that if you get yes and you're getting your visa, you pay the additional $250 US.
Oh.
That's the impression I am getting.
So the fee has been raised once you get in through.
Once you get through.
Once you get in through, yes.
I feel that's just an impression because, you know what? I find these people just going up with this thing and Trinidadians just taking that.
But we have no choice, eh?
But we have no choice.
No.
Yeah, we have no choice.
We go somewhere else.
I remember when American visa was very little money to get it.
Yeah, but when visa prices go up, they go up across the world, and they don't go up just in Trinidad.
No, but Richard, all from what? From almost 1,300 to 3,000.
Yeah. That's what I said. We have to get clarification on it. But the larger point is that it's not a Trinidad and Tobago situation. It's a global situation.
Yeah, but these people these people get somebody real vector. Telling all you. People work hard for the money. When you pay that money, and these people do, I see them mention something about some refund and all that. But it's very difficult. You know how hard some people have to work for that money, and then when you go, them turn you down.
Yep.
That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. We need to, I don't know about other countries, but we need to burn some tires for the American Embassy. Yeah, that's what we need to, Trinidadians need to get together and stop going to America. You understand?
That you could do.
Yeah, and that we could do, and that is what you wouldn't get here in this Trinidad and Tobago. We don't have that kind of attitude.
Because who could afford it will pay it.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
Well, I suppose you have to get to the point of visa. You have to get to the point of a visa waiver, so that you don't have to get a visa anymore. It could be an ETA, which would be considerably cheaper.
Well, I look forward to only getting somebody so we can know for sure, right? Because my visa, I just come back from a little holiday in 2 months in the States, and my visa expiring in February, and I know if I go and pay $3,000 to get another one. No, I went a couple times. I don't feel I need to go back. I have my sister there, but you know what? I ain't sure if I will go back. Not at $3,000.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, what you will say about England?
Yeah, England. We never had to do a visa for England. Now we have to do one, and an expensive one too.
And it's expensive.
Yeah.
And it's for a limited time. At least for the Americans, you get 10 years.
Yes.
But for the English is punitive and ridiculous.
Yeah.
Mr. Patrick.
Yes, sir. How are you going again?
We are good.
This visa issue, as I talked about earlier this morning, an English visa is $5,000 for 2 years. You know that, right?
Yes.
Go ahead.
For 2 years, right? Nice. This $250 extra. From what I'm reading for the past month, is a new bill that's signed into force on the 4th of July or the 6th of July. Where all countries over the world had to pay that $250 extra
Yeah,
for
the big beautiful bill.
Some big beautiful bill. So not Trinidad alone going through that. India, all over the world, they say is a fund for security systems in New York when it comes to border patrol and all kind of different stories. So after that, everybody decided to put visa in the country. That's that. So I really don't know. Everybody now instituting some form of a protection, they call it, to know who is coming in the country. So if you don't want to go there, you don't want to go there. Like if you are going England, you don't go England. And the Caribbean put something for all them countries who come into them countries. So is that what it is? How we going around that? I really don't know. I don't know. But it's a bill they pass in order. So they say a lot of Indian people from India, they not mess it up. Because you know the currency in India. That's not, the currency in India is something different. Rupees, right?
Yes, rupees.
So I really don't know what's going on over there. But America only wants certain people in the country. And they have a new thing now, $1 million citizen card. You know what I want to know?
No.
A Trump $1 million gold card. Look it up.
Yeah, we
look it up. That is part for citizenship. You call that.
Okay. Mr. Patrick, thank you very much for chiming in on the conversation. Zena, good morning.
Good morning, Sir Charles.
Morning,
Good morning,
Zena.
Richard and Wendell.
Morning,
Richard
Zena.
and Wendell, morning.
Morning, Zena.
Wendell, before I make my contribution, we are not seeing your face on the TV.
Yeah,
This
yeah,
is very, very dark.
I apologize for
I
that.
don't know what is the problem because Richard is overshadowing you.
Yes, that's
His
okay.
face is big and bright.
That's okay. I apologize early this morning that I didn't walk it. I didn't have my artificial lighting.
Okay, all right, good. I thought you didn't know. All right. 2 quick points here. Richard, that poll this morning, first I would like to understand what are the pros and cons of this sub judice, because we could jump and say yes or no to your poll, but we have to know what are the pros and cons. Sometimes I wonder if it is because the country here is too small, why they put that on us, as to say, well, why people can't talk about it. So I would like to know that you could explain another morning what are the pros and cons you feel of this sub judice, why we should or why we shouldn't. And what I want to say, Mr. George, I hear people, the kind of comments I seen, I think he was right to come out and make a statement. How it went, you would know as a lawyer how close he come to that line. But I am saying he has a right to at least try to make his part clear, because he's a very popular person and he has a lot of clients. And people will run from you, and these cases take so many years. So he has to try and make his part clear. So the part about the marriage, I understand in that part, but I think that he needed to try to make his part clear. So I feel that is from the point of view of the clientele. Secondly, I think it's Mr. Billy made a point about the murders. You see the politicized murders and crime in this country. And people run with this saying that their government are protecting you. We give us a chance. We will carry down murders and we will protect you. What is Rowley doing? I could remember when Dr. Rowley was there. What is Dr. Rowley doing about crime? He and Einstein must go. And I keep saying, no one could stop anybody from murdering. It's a whole revolutionary change of the mind. People have to know to themselves they have to behave. I saw an incident with a whole cutlass attack, and I think it's in Tobago. 3 of them on one man, just cutlass swinging and chopping and people going mad. And whether it's drugs or what, I don't know. But we cannot blame it on the authorities. And that is what people didn't see, because the blood was on Dr. Rowley's hands, as far as we heard before. And which is not so. People have to behave themselves and change their ways and turn to God and pray some more so that they would stop behaving like that. Right? So that's all I have to say for now. And for Virginia, sponsor on the program now. So you could talk for half and then we could chip in between. Thank you. Go on.
A little bit. We turn your mic off. A little bit again. She
got very snappy to the end there, Wendell. Very snappy.
Very snappy. A little bit again, she asked to pick up collection,
Yeah. But the sub judice rule is not a Trinidad and Tobago rule. It's something we inherited from the people who just put a visa on us, and who colonized here and put a visa on us. Them, right? Them is the one we inherited from that sub judice rule, which means simply under judicial consideration. And the purpose of that rule was really to one, it's kind of shielding the court system from too much commentary and scrutiny. So it kind of shields them in a sense. And the second thing it does too is that the purpose of it was to ensure a fair trial, that judges and juries were protected from too much commentary and people having opinions and feeling pressured about the opinions that they were hearing. Of course, in a 2025 situation where everything is discussed, it's seen as archaic by some and outdated, because people comment on everything now. And our juries and judges not sophisticated enough to get past all of that and focus on whatever the facts of our in a case. Of course, the American system allows a lot of that commentary. That's why when you watch American news, you will see them commenting on cases ad nauseum, all kind of experts weighing in on the case, weighing in on the legal principles, because of course their freedom of speech requirement trumps that. But we are still in the conservatism of the English, the same people that put the visa on us, right? They are the ones that we still follow because we were colonized by them, even though they put a visa on us now.
Good morning. Good morning. Morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
Yeah, I'm kind of a little frustrated a little bit because I have to agree with Zena. If you're getting through, you all say you call for anything, but some people getting through once, twice, and you're trying 100 times to call. And when they call, they spend still amount of time on the radio. I agree with Zena. Thank you, Zena. Good morning, everyone. Listen, first of all, that case with Mr. Martin George, it is?
Yes.
I agree with what he did. I agree with what he did because, as Gina rightfully said it, this thing takes a lot of time and he has business he has to do. And you have to see it that way. But I think also, maybe, Richard, you can help. I do not know if there need to be a law about people making, yes, you can make accusations, but if it's not true, you have to face the penalty of the law too. Because we have a case like that here in Florida, and it's all over the U.S., where women can just cry rape or whatever, make false accusations, and everybody jump on their side right away. And when you look at it, the case here in Florida, it was the woman, she was supposed to marry a guy, and the guy went and chose to marry somebody else, so she decided to cry rape. All these things is wasted time, vindictive. You know?
Yes,
so sometimes when men do rape women, yeah, you deal with them. But majority of some of these women, they're just crying rape and they get away with scot-free. That it's like a Me Too thing. Whatever they say is right. No, men have to have rights too. But also, let's go on the British thing with this, as Richard was just saying, they colonized. As this guy called Trevor Noah, he's a comedian. He said it in the show in England. England should be the last country in the world to worry about immigration. They went around all around the world colonizing, and then telling people, be like us. And then turn around and call themselves Great Britain. They called themselves Great Britain. Nobody else did. But this is, if you go online, you will see what's going on. Don't take my word. Go online and see how many countries in the world has slapped a visa entry now requirement for anybody with a British passport. And this is what Trinidad and Tobago and the rest of the Caribbean need to do. All in China now. You can't go from Britain with a British passport and just enter the country. No. You have to have a visa. And there's more requirements to get the visa. And plus, it's more expensive than what they're charging. Even when you go to Ethiopia from the United States, I have to pay a fine for a visa. Everybody. So why does Trinidad and Tobago cannot wake up and stop being looking down at themselves as third world all the time? Get up and do something. So that's my contribution. You guys have a good weekend and be safe.
Yeah, thanks, Captain. Richard, Captain Ron, he had asked something, but you had moved away from your system for a little while. The issue with people, what is the penalty for someone who makes an accusation against someone and it's proven that they are wrong? In other words, do they get charged for wasteful employment of police time? Has that happened? Does that happen?
That would have to be really that the person withdrew it or something and then said I lied.
Mm-hmm. Even if it's proven that after that they have lied, that they have no case,
that would hardly be any penalty. Mm-hmm. Then the what could then happen is that the person who was accused could probably sue you in a civil court for defamation and saying that you affected my character by what you said.
Right? Does that happen?
Which would not be a criminal thing. That would be a civil thing.
Right.
Because you would have made an accusation that went before the press and the media, and you could say, well, you have defamed me.
Right.
By something that you could not prove in a court of law. Generally, that very rarely happens because people are just so relieved that the issue is done, they just want to move on.
Mm-hmm. I guess so.
Good morning to you, caller.
Morning, sir. This is Linda.
Hi, Linda.
Hi, guys. Richard, you said that you thought that the cost of a British visa was punitive. But I don't agree with you. It is just that it reflects the underlying local cost of administering the service. And you have to remember, labor costs in the UK are much higher than labor costs.
I'm not talking punitive about the cost, I'm talking punitive about implementing it in the first place. You are the one who made us a colony. You are the one who created this space we are in. You're out of place to put a visa on us. You're out of place.
Okay, well, the reason that was given is because there were certain countries identified as having a...
They're talking rubbish. They are talking rubbish. Because there are many other countries that have more asylum seekers than us that have no visas on them.
But Chad, I'm saying to you, I'm just explaining to you the rationale. I
know the English rationale, and I'm saying I don't buy it an iota.
Okay, you don't buy it, but you don't even want it to be circulated. That's the difficulty.
I think everybody knows what it was. People not stupid. Everybody knows what they said. Everybody knows what they said, and everybody saw the reasons that they proffered. So you're not saying anything new?
Okay. All right, Richard. But as far as the comment you made that the cost was punitive, I disagree. Okay?
Okay.
So we could agree to disagree. Okay. Have a nice day, guys. Bye-bye.
Yeah. All right, the British out of place.
Battle between
we are former colony. We are part of the Commonwealth. Find another way to resolve whatever issue. So anybody who needs asylum, who has a legitimate claim for asylum, you as the former mother country, they can't come to you and say, I need asylum, even if it's a legitimate case. Give me a break.
Well, let's take that break as we go to the news and come back.
Chalo.
The news you need, the clarity you deserve. Local, regional, global. This is Net Radio News Now.
This is your news update for Friday, July 11th, 2025. I am Amanda Mitchell with New Era TT Radio and M&E TV. Patriotic Front political leader Mikola Pandey has expressed concern over the UNC's attacks on President Christine Kangaloo and independent senators, as well as the mass layoffs of CPEP workers, calling it governance with a heavy hand. In a Facebook post yesterday, Pandey urged the UNC to pursue constitutional reform rather than engage in cyberbullying and divisive politics. She noted that the UNC-led People's Partnership missed a key reform opportunity in 2010 despite holding a two-thirds parliamentary majority. President Kangaloo, speaking at a women's leadership conference earlier this week, acknowledged attacks on her impartiality and questioned whether her gender played a role in the criticism's intensity. UNC MPs denied any gender bias, attributing concerns to her former PNM affiliation. Pandey called on both major parties to put country before politics. Contractor Eastman Enterprise Limited has filed a lawsuit against CPEP Company Limited, challenging the immediate termination of its contract on June 27th. The legal action comes amid widespread fallout from CPEP's dismissal of over 10,000 workers and hundreds of contractors. Justice Margaret Mohammed has given CPEP until July 14th to respond, with a virtual injunction hearing set for July 18th. The claim, led by Senior Counsel Larry Lala, seeks to halt what it calls unlawful dismissal. The PNM, through spokesperson Faris Al-Rawi, criticized the UNC government for abandoning vulnerable workers, calling the action callous. Thousands remain unemployed with no relief measures announced. Director of Public Prosecutions Roger Gaspar has responded to a High Court order regarding delays in filing an indictment against Earl Richards, one of 10 men charged with the 2014 murder of Senior Counsel Dana Sitahal. Gaspar confirmed he's leaning toward indictment, citing cogent evidence, but denied undue delay. He attributed the time lapse to case complexity, systemic constraints, and the need to thoroughly assess evidence, including CCTV footage and intercepted communications. Gaspar noted that Richard's committal in July 2020 followed a 4-year preliminary inquiry, with COVID-19 and late receipt of electronic files contributing to delays. The search for Scott Rambaran, a 38-year-old man from Orapuna Gardens, Piarco, ended tragically yesterday after his body was discovered inside his car in Mausika. Rambaran left home on July 8th with $25,000 cash, reportedly to purchase a vehicle in Maloney, but never returned. His white Toyota Corolla was found abandoned in bushes off Mausika Road, south by Hunter's Search and Rescue, with Rambaran's body sprawled over the passenger seat. Police are investigating the circumstances surrounding his death. A doubles vendor was tied up and robbed at gunpoint in her home on Tuesday afternoon. 2 masked men, one armed with a gun and the other with a cutlass, stormed through her partially open back door around 1 p.m. They bound the woman and ransacked her house, stealing $45,000 in cash, jewelry, a Samsung phone worth $1,200, and her black Toyota Hilux valued at $140,000. The suspects fled toward Rochard Road. The victim later freed herself and contacted police, but the suspects and vehicle remain missing. You are listening to news on New Era TT Radio. In international news, at least 120 people, including 36 children, have died in Texas Hill Country flash floods, with Kerr County suffering the heaviest casualties. Many victims were linked to a nearby Christian summer camp. Early warning failures may have worsened the tragedy, with the first official alert sent nearly 90 minutes after a firefighter's initial request, and residents not notified until hours later. Kerr County Sheriff Larry Letha said the emergency response timeline is under review, with over 160 people still missing, including campers and a counselor from Camp Mystic. The National Weather Service had issued flood warnings ahead of time. but poor cell service and alert fatigue may have delayed evacuations. President Trump declared a federal disaster, allowing FEMA to assist in recovery efforts involving over 2,100 responders, drones, helicopters, and cadaver dogs. That concludes your news update for today. I'm Amanda Mitchell for New Era TT Radio and M&E TV. The Breakfast Show with Wendell, Richard, and Sir Charles continues right after this short break.
That was news now. Stay informed with New Era TT Radio, Net Radio.
Chancellor Auto Services Limited, your one-stop auto repair shop, located at number 1 Industrial Lane, Chancellor, right opposite the brewery on the Eastern Main Road. Yes, we do it all. Repairs to all makes and models, from your everyday sedan to SUVs, light trucks, pickups, and panel vans. We're also the sole distributors of Davanti tires, certified VTS inspection station, plus a wide range of services: oil change, front end and suspension repairs, tune-ups, tire alignment, batteries, electrical work, radiator and cooling system, AC repairs, and accessories galore. We offer pickup and drop-off service too. Call us today at 662-6545 or 662-6572. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Chancellor Auto Services Limited, number 1 Industrial Lane, Chancellor. We do it all.
S&H Rumbox, 137 Western Main Road, St. James, for all your retail and wholesale needs for alcohol and non-alcoholic beverages. Call us at 686-0599 or visit us at 137 Western Main Road, St. James. S&H Rumbox, drinking out of the box.
Looking for trusted, affordable security and property services? Horatio Services has you covered across Trinidad and Tobago. We offer battle security, canine patrols, 24/7 protection, and all sorts of private investigations, discreet, professional, and effective. But that's not all. We also provide construction. From building to renovation, we bring your vision to life. Landscaping, keep your outdoors looking sharp and inviting. Maintenance, repairs, upkeep, and everything in between. At Horatio Services, you get professionalism, reliability, and personal care. Whether it's safety or property support you need, visit us at Marino Street, Arima, or call 388-7070 today. Horatio Services, protection, precision, peace of mind.
Advertise with us on New Era TT Radio, the fastest growing streaming platform for talk in Trinidad and Tobago. Audio and video ads welcome. Elevate your brand with us. Connect with us at newerattradio@yahoo.com or call us at 299-5156. Now what are you waiting for?
All right. Very interesting conversations in the chat this morning. Let me just say hello to Donna Ramlo Chan, Cheryl Henry, Dean Allen, Magic DL, Far Rockaway has been chatty, very chatty this morning. Ian Ron DeSantis Jr. had a little back and forth situation. James Samuel, also good morning, and Derek Billion, who apparently Susie B is the B for Billion, I got that. So it might have two relatives chatting there. All right, Lauren, Graham, Corby, Richard, that is why I love you. I like Cupid also commented, and Magic, Lester Cragwell also too. I agree with Richard 100%. All right. Some of the people
but you have construction going on in the back by them.
Richard building up a new story. He's going up a 4th level, I think.
No, here, 7 levels.
Good morning, good morning. Well, you all had all your fill today, but folks, for the folks who complaining that some people talk too long, I mean, it happens. We don't place restrictions on anyone in terms of the length of time they speak, but be hopeful that they are mindful of it. So Charles has that button, he has that trigger on the button sometimes, but sometimes Sir Charles don't pull trigger now. Yeah, I know.
So then you have to time the trigger. You have to time the trigger well.
He politely interrupts and say, okay, that's
okay, Virginia, but that didn't work today. He went on and on.
Went a little overboard today, but we have another caller as we look to ride it up in a little bit. Good morning, Susan.
Good morning, Sir Charles, Wendell, and Richard. It's so good to hear you gentlemen this morning. And yes, I agree with Mr. Richard 100% because St. Vincent and the Grenadines don't need a visa to go to England. You understand? So I don't know why it is they're putting this whole henchman on my neck. I gotta pay so much money to go and I mean, if let me say the time pass and they ain't get to fly out because of whatever reason. But we know that whole set of money gone down the drain. It's just sad. It's just sad. It ain't bothering me coming by anytime soon. But that is one. And then two, with the whole thing with this lawyer, the whole democracy about courthouse and them kind of thing, everybody making our money. From the van man who had to go out to pick up these prisoners, like money making. If the case call and they say, hey, we're going on, they cancel, the money still at the pump. Everybody making a money. Go up to, it is alleged that some years back, it had a lawyer who was collecting money from the dead. And because he marked boss, everything there dropped. You understand? So it's all about eat our food. And this whole judiciary system, because I'm still trying to add the maths. So much a year is at a wait. Look like in Jamaica, this man, the case never called. How much millions he get afterwards? Over 50 years, the man in prison, not a case never called. And then when the family keep interjecting, eventually he get a hearing and they have to pay millions after. And that is when they start to sue back the government, but at the end of the day, taxpayers got to pay. It's just sad. But gentlemen, great program as usual. I'm waiting for Monday God's Spare Life to see what topic you'll have. Also, the weekend has begun, Richard. And so when they're rumbox, people are going to get your drinks. And don't forget Sappy Sunday at 2 p.m. with Sir Charles. It's going to be epic.
Everybody's inside.
I'm hospital those plug-in. And tomorrow, people from 6 a.m., make sure and listen to Sir Charles at 6 to 9.
Get up early. Get up early. Thanks very much, Susie. Yeah, thanks very much.
Weekend has begun, people. She is so right. So put a smile in your face. Forget everything that happened this last week that caused you stress or got you angry or whatever. It's the weekend. Put a smile on your face. Of course, this is where we end the breakfast show for this morning. So have a fantastic day. Whatever you do, remember to smile and laugh. It's great for your health. Right. Have a fantastic weekend. Whatever brings you joy, please. And don't have a stress-free weekend, whatever you do.
Folks, have a wonderful weekend. Remember, one life. Live it.
Of course, New Era TT Radio continues on the stream, New Era TTRadio.com and New Era TT Radio on TuneIn, so you can listen to it on your smart devices or wherever you have an internet connection. Have a fantastic weekend, and thanks for joining us for this week. We appreciate each and every one of you for making us your choice, and thank you.
This has been
The Breakfast Show. Have a great one, people.
Yeah. Wake up, it's a brand new dawn. The Breakfast Show got the vibes turned.